What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful morning. This is Chris Classic. Remember, if anything else, God loves you, Christ loves you, I love you. If you want to talk to me about it, I'm available. I wanted to talk about the fallout between All Out. I wanted to give my opinions on who was wrong and also the stuff that happened yesterday. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and also subscribe to the C3 Ultimate Wrestling channel as well. Let's talk about the media scrum. Who was wrong? Punk was wrong. What he was saying and the contents that he was saying, I agree with. However, you do not do that on a public forum with journalists. Now, it's bad enough because we already talked about how some of these guys aren't even qualified journalists. Most of them are going on rumors. That's why when you look at websites that are supposed to be wrestling journalists and media coverage, they say from another source. Like they'll say, like another one will say, let's say WrestleHead.com is a journalist site, right? So when you click on their thing, it'll say from Fightful, the source of Fightful. That's not a credible source because, not saying Fightful isn't, but I'm just saying if the person is saying another website or another journalist site is saying it, it's not really, you're not doing a good job. You're just trying to cover yourself. And that's not always a good thing. That means you don't know the facts yet. You're trying to cover yourself just in case something bad happens. But my thing is this: if you don't have the 100% scoop, you don't need to say it. Now, I understand you want followers, you want people to clickbait. You know, they got paywalls. I didn't even know there was paywalls for certain things. But hey, it is what it is. But to go out there and give them that kind of thing, it was just crazy. Now, the guys in the back, the VPs, friends of the VPs, you know, they were wrong. You know, if Paige was supposed to say something and it was planned out what was supposed to be said and you go out and you do what you want to do, that is a problem. You know, obviously Paige isn't punished for that, or maybe he was in the back. I don't know. But, you know, you don't go off the script because you want to stick up for somebody. And I understand, you know, Punk tried to do it. Well, Punk didn't do it. Let's just be honest. You know, Punk did the voice of the voiceless thing, and that wasn't that good. It didn't really help out nobody. It helped out him, and it helped out AJ, and it helped Colt Cabana have a job for a little longer than what he was supposed to have at WWE. But anyway, yeah, this is stuff that's supposed to be rumored. This is supposed to be on Dark Side of the Ring in like 10 or 15 years. Like, this wasn't what we were supposed to do. And, you know, Tony could have nipped it in the bud, but he didn't. You know, he was already embarrassed. He had egg on his face and stuff like that. And this just proves that what I said a couple times to a few people is that these guys aren't your friends. I don't even think the VPs are his friends. It's just a guy with a lot of money, a lot of access, a venue, and stuff like that, and then they can do whatever they want. You know, they were already criticized for how they wrestle. I'm talking about the VPs, the Bucks, the Elite. They're already criticized how they wrestle around the world and stuff like that, but now it was just an appeal to have an American audience and to get paid a lot of money for it. And that's how I feel about it. But with all that being said, I don't work for AEW or anything like that, and I'm not having a microphone and stuff like that. You know, people are talking more about the media scrum than All Out or Worlds Collide and Clash at the Castle. You know, it didn't have to be like this. But when things are negative and things are high, people are covered. You get what I'm saying? This is probably going to be one of the last times I do it unless something else comes up. But I really don't want to keep, you know, going in on this. I don't even go live. I haven't gone live on it because I don't want to argue with people. You know, a lot of people are saying it's a work. Well, it was a work. Now it's confirmed through credible sources, i.e. Sports Illustrated, and what happened last night. So these are the kind of things that you got to think about. You know, even if it is a work, this is not how you do it. You know, if you were going to make it a work, you would probably say the thing about the backstage thing. You wouldn't have Punk go out there and basically tamper with your company and mess it up. I want to say, think about it. If the WB execs and Discovery execs is telling them they need to cut down cursing, and then Punk gets on gets on YouTube and do a media scrum, and he's cursing, he's talking about somebody's mama account being shared with a wrestler, and then he kept talking about it, he's eating, like, come on, man, that dude didn't care. Now, like I said, I'm going to reiterate. He was wrong by how he did it. I don't disagree with what he said. I'm not a big Punk fan. You guys know that. The guy is a decent worker, though. He's a good worker. He know how to get the crowd amped up. He know how to get him mad at him when he wants to. It's not a lot of people that can do that. He's invested in that. I know he's a selfish person. Not even knowing him, knowing he's a selfish person. Going back into it. On the VP side, you don't engage. We hear reports of them kicking the door down. See, when you kick a door down, you got to be ready for the reactions that's happening. Because even if I say you come talk to me and I'm sitting down and you kick the door down, you're disrupting my peace. You're disrupting what I'm doing. What if my family's back there? He had his dog back there. A lot of people care about dogs more than people. But anyway, you don't do certain things. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you get embarrassed. And sometimes it's good to address it, and sometimes you have to be still. And that's what they should have did. They should have been still. You confront them, and then you're yelling, and there's fighting, and people are holding back. There's certain things. You should have just went to Tony. Tony, a lot of people saying he need to have a backbone. I'm just saying, Tony, I think this is just from the outside looking at it look like you on the fence. And this is a good reason on why you shouldn't get on the fence. Because if you're telling Punk one thing and you're telling the VPs another, that's your problem. It's more a problem now. You should have been more on. I'm not even saying choose a side. Choose the side what's right for your company. I don't think it was a good idea to even have wrestlers as VPs, to be honest. And if you were, I don't think these were the guys. But hey, it is what it is. They have a lot of people following them. A lot of people support them. A lot of people love what they do and stuff like that. So, from a business standpoint, most people are saying because they don't like Punk, stay with the VPs. And then for people like Cornette and stuff like that, the guy who draws money, they say Punk. But even with that, I have to kind of disagree because Punk isn't bringing in a lot of money. I mean, a lot of more ratings like that. I think he brings a decent, but not a lot. So sometimes they'd have $1 million without Punk and stuff. But then he even was wrestling on Rampage every Friday. Well, taped. We was on Rampage every Friday. And, the numbers weren't doing that good. He wrestled his little heart out. I admire that. But it just wasn't working for Rampage. Because of spoilers and tape things and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as the VPs are concerned, and I will say this, they're very vocal online, on Twitter and all this other stuff. They're very vocal on certain things, even in the company. Like even JR being very observant of the company he works for, how they do dive outs, how they do things, how they put matches together. And even on commentary, he gets on. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, JR is old and he forgets names and, Jungle Jack Perry. Not everybody's saying it ironically. But at the same time, he be right. The dive outs, I remember Brandon Cutler, he said something about it. When JR said that Randy Orton was the greatest wrestler, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, people got mad because he didn't say Kenny was. So it's like a cult, a little bit of a cult, a little bit. You get what I'm saying? So this is what I'm talking about. If you condition but you can't take it, you shouldn't dish it at all. Kenny and the Bucks and stuff. Like for the past 2 weeks, they were having YouTube exclusive mic time. It sounded horrible. Didn't sound good, didn't sound engaging, didn't make me excited about nothing. But obviously they were like saying small things behind the scenes if you can peep it. So Punk was like, mess around and find out. Now, they shouldn't have did that neither. This is stuff that people should be assuming and stuff like that. This should just be something that could have stayed in the back. Hey, we heard this happen. But no, it didn't. Cameras are involved, rumors are involved. People will sell their soul just to sell a story, so they can be popular. So how I feel about the situation. Yesterday was Dynamite. Tony got on the screen. He got booed. Nasty work. Y'all nasty. But anyway, he stripped the champions. He stripped his world champion, and he stripped the trios champion. So think about this, guys. 4 champions were stripped. 4 champions. Mind you, these guys are supposed to be the veterans in the locker room, the locker room leaders, if you will. 4 of them. Guys who've been doing this for years. Nasty. Now, this is why I pride myself in professional wrestling, and I say professional in front. People think when people say pro wrestling, when I say pro wrestling, that means that's my main source of income and stuff. You know, like when you say you playing basketball and you going pro, people are going to say that that's NBA, if you will. I'm talking about professional. I have gear. I work out sometimes. Um, I co-own a company with my wife, a pro wrestling company. We have a show. We do more family oriented. We don't have nothing crazy going on and stuff like that. We start on time for the most part. We do things. What I say, the promos and stuff, sometimes I still have to edit because people get too passionate. But I do try to carry a certain standard. I'm not just booking anybody crazy. I'm not booking deathmatch guys. That's not what I want to do or anything like that. So I have structures that guys follow and stuff like that. That's what I try to do because I want to do business with other people too. I want them to say Chris is a very professional person. He's punctual. He talks and stuff like that. The wrestlers are very nice. They're very respectable and stuff like that. You know, like I said, the stuff that's been going on with all of these guys, even before this media scrum, even how the VPs, the EVPs of a company, how they act via Twitter and all of this other stuff is childish. But y'all just went over to somebody that can trump y'all and, you know, really did embarrass the company. Like I said, I can't stress that enough. This is a detriment to the company and stuff like that. And this proves a lot of people who were upset about Punk coming back and stuff like that. But at the same time, these VPs who shouldn't be VPs, EVPs, whatever, EVPs, DVDs, cassettes, and 8-tracks, they shouldn't have had that position in the first place. But that's what I stress on, that. Think about it, guys. 4 champions. These guys were the top of the company, all 4 of them. You get what I'm saying? You know, I already talked about how I felt about the Bucks and the Elite winning. Well, the Elite basically winning, and I already talked about Punk. With certain things. Punk's reigns was just butt because of the foot injury and now being stripped. And now he could be fired and the Elite will stay. The thing is, you know, a lot of people are more for Punk leaving and his homie Ace, and they want the EVPs to stay. If the EVPs stay, I do think they need to not have that title anymore. I think you have a lot of other guys that should be credible for it. You know, they obviously not listening to the veterans of the game who's been in multiple companies that drew thousands, if not millions of dollars. They obviously not listening to them. They're not changing nothing. You know, they're doing the same thing that brought them to the dance. And now it's a different tune, and more people are paying attention to that, and they don't have no rhythm. Dang, I like that. I'm going to write that one down. But that's how I feel. This could have been avoided. It was nasty on both parts. Even if you support Punk, you know that he was wrong. Nobody has no business just kicking people's door down, yelling and stuff like that. You know, you're messing up the company's brand. You know, the church's money, as people say. You can't do these kind of, you know, you can talk, and I'm sure things can get heated and stuff like that. But when stuff going to fisticuffs, it's crazy. Thing is, it's not even just 4 people. It's Daniels, who I'm sure was probably sticking up for Punk because from Chicago, Chi-Town, Nakazawa, Brandon Cutler. Is there somebody else I'm missing besides the main people? Like, dang, I didn't even know it was that much. You know, somebody made a joke saying, like, you know, to know that there was a dog back there and the dog was the one that didn't bite somebody, that just says something. That's funny to me, but it's interesting to see. We got new trios champions. Death Triangle Pack is a double champ now, so we'll see where it goes from that. You know, a lot of people are talking about how tag belts are doomed and trio belts are doomed. So we'll see. You know, we'll see. I'm not big on trios championships and stuff like that, but we'll see where it goes from here. But now there's a tournament, and, you know, now it's most likely MJF is going to somehow cash in his chance, possibly. I think the winners of the first thing, they're going against either Moxley and Jericho. Dang, that sucks, because Paige was the former champion. But anyway, y'all understand where I'm coming from. So we'll see where it goes from here. I would, in a perfect world, I would have Bryan Danielson win it, and then he feuds with MJF. You know, I don't really care for Moxley like that. Jericho's doing his own thing, doing Jericho things, but I do think that it would be good to see a fresh matchup. I don't want to see Mox and MJF at the end of this. We've seen it before. I don't want to see Jericho and MJF because we've seen that before, and it should have ended way longer before it actually ended. So yeah, hopefully we get Bryan and MJF at the end of this. Maybe at what is it, Full Gear? Is that the next one? That'll be dope to see, you know. But that's how I feel. I just wanted to talk about the All Out Fallout. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. This is Chris Classic. I need to shave, and let's take it home.